Greetings, dear subscribers and casual listeners of my channel. Today I want to share some interesting facts about the Harry Potter universe that might surprise you. We'll talk about all sorts of things with no particular direction or limitations. I think this will give me the opportunity to touch on the most unexpected and exciting moments that you may not have heard of. Enjoy watching. Number 1. The distracted student. In Order of the Phoenix, we first meet the fantastic creatures, Thestrals. These eerie winged horses are usually harnessed to carriages that bring students to Hogwarts. However, only those who have witnessed someone's death can see them. At the very end of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, you can spot one of the Patil sisters trying to walk in front of the carriage but colliding with something invisible. This was a Thestral. Be sure to pay attention to this moment. Number 2, Americans among the Brits. J.K. Rowling always insisted that only British and Irish actors should be involved in the film adaptations of her books. However, despite this, there were a few Americans in the cast of the first film. One of them was Vern Troyer, who played Griphook, whose face was hidden under makeup, while Warwick Davis did the character's voiceover. Among the American actors was Eleanor Columbus, who played Susan Bones. She is the daughter of director Chris Columbus, who secured her a small role in the films. Number 3. A bad example. It's interesting how Harry Potter, in many ways, mirrors Voldemort's journey. Both grew up without parents, came to love Hogwarts, considering it their home, and both chose wands with feathers from the same phoenix. Harry created Dumbledore's army, while Voldemort formed the Death Eaters. Every member of Dumbledore's army was given a charmed galleon that heated up at new meetings, similar to how the Dark Mark works. Hermione even admits that she got the idea for the galleons from the Death Eaters. Quote, "You know what this reminds me of?" "No, what?" "The Dark Mark. Voldemort touches one and the marks burn on everyone. It's a signal that he's calling them." "Well, yeah," Hermione quietly said. "That's what got me thinking." Number 4. Levicorpus. The Levicorpus spell first appears in Half-Blood Prince and may have been invented by Snape himself, but we see Luna using it already in Order of the Phoenix. Even in the game based on the 5th movie, Harry can use this spell, though according to the books he's supposed to learn about it only a year later. Number 5. A corrupted symbol. The Deathly Hallows symbol became not only a cult icon in Harry Potter, but was also associated with the dark wizard Grindelwald. Victor Krum noticed this symbol on Xenophilius Lovegood's chest in Deathly Hallows and was ready to challenge him to a duel. Quote, "Grindelwald carved this symbol on the wall of our school Durmstrang when he was studying there." Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Number 6. A reference to the Deathly Hallows. Interestingly, in Goblet of Fire you can spot a figurine in Dumbledore's office that resembles the Deathly Hallows symbol. Of course, this might be just a coincidence, but one would like to believe that this detail was added intentionally. Number 7. I would trust Hagrid with my life. In the wizarding world, it's hard to find someone you can truly trust. After all, there are dangerous spells like the Imperious Curse and wizards who can read and control other people's thoughts. And even though a Death Eater spent a whole year hiding under someone else's identity and teaching at Hogwarts, there was one person you could fully trust. This person was Hagrid, who, because of his giant blood, was protected from transformations using Polyjuice Potion. As Lupin explained, "You're half giant," Lupin said, looking at Hagrid, "and Polyjuice Potion only works on humans." Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Number 8. The Legend of the Platinum Frog. The Platinum Frog is one of the most mysterious artifacts in the wizarding world, and few know the true depth of its history. Originally, it was a symbol of an ancient and powerful magical family. The frog, which later became a talisman and amulet, was a gift from an old master wizard. This gift had the power to heal even the most complex magical illnesses, both of wizards and magical creatures. But it wasn't just a healing artifact. Legends say that anyone who possessed the platinum frog had the ability to foresee important events in the future. Over time, however, those who wore it disappeared, and the artifact itself was hidden, its secrets lost to time. When Harry first heard about it, he couldn't quite grasp its significance. Professor Snape, however, seemed to understand the gravity of its power. "So that's it," he said. "This is not a simple decoration and certainly not a trinket. We are talking about a magical legacy that has existed in our world for centuries." His words left a lasting impression on Harry. The platinum frog was more than just a relic. It was a key to understanding the mysteries of magic itself, and its true purpose had yet to be revealed. The legend of the frog only deepened the intrigue, leaving Harry and his friends wondering what other ancient secrets lay hidden in the world of magic. Number 9. Magical paintings and hidden doors. In the world of Harry Potter, paintings and portraits are much more than simple decorations. They are portals to hidden worlds, often guarding secrets that the castle's inhabitants would prefer to keep concealed. One such portrait at Hogwarts hides a magical door leading to a secret room, a place that has been shrouded in mystery for centuries. This hidden chamber, as legend has it, once housed magical books that had vanished long before Harry's time, their knowledge now lost to the ages. The paintings themselves are more than just images. They are magical beings capable of moving and speaking, and in some cases serving as gateways to places no one would ever expect to have. "Find. This is not just a painting, Harry," said Ron, his voice low, with a mix of awe and caution. "It's a trap for wizards who want to hide their secrets from the normal world." Ron's words were a reminder of the hidden dangers within the magical world. The portrait wasn't just a piece of art, it was a carefully crafted concealment designed to protect what was most precious and dangerous. The idea of secret passages and hidden rooms within Hogwarts had always intrigued Harry, but he soon realized that some mysteries were meant to remain locked away, hidden in plain sight. Number 10. Draco Malfoy and his family tree. The name Malfoy carries with it a sense of aristocratic pride and old money, but few realize that it was not always their true surname. In the early days of their magical lineage, the Malfoys went by a different name, one they abandoned long ago. The change in their name was not just about reinvention, but about hiding darker truths. The Malfoy family had once been renowned for their power, but their true magical heritage was intertwined with dark magic, blood curses, and forbidden rituals. In an attempt to distance themselves from their past, they adopted the name Malfoy, obscuring their identity from the wizarding world. Draco Malfoy, the heir to this storied family, slowly began to uncover these long-forgotten truths about his ancestors. One night he confronted his father, Lucius, asking about the strange and unsettling memories of their family's history. "You mean all these foggy memories about my family are just the beginning of an old game that I don't want to continue?" Draco asked, his voice heavy with doubt. His face betrayed his inner conflict. He was torn between the legacy of power and darkness that had shaped his family and the desire to break free from it. Draco's journey was marked by the tension between family loyalty and personal conscience. As he delved deeper into the secrets of the Malfoy bloodline, he was forced to confront the dark magic that had been passed down through generations. The name Malfoy had been a mask, one that shielded the family from their past sins, but for Draco, the mask began to crack. The weight of his ancestors' choices and the ominous legacy they left behind became a burden he could no longer ignore. Despite his family's attempts to control his fate, Draco realized that his true power would come not from the bloodline he inherited, but from the choices he made moving forward. Number 11. Myths about Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore was revered as the greatest wizard of his time, believed to be all-knowing and invincible. His reputation was built on his achievements, from defeating dark wizards to guiding Harry Potter through his most dangerous trials. But what few understood was that Dumbledore harbored his own dark secrets. For years, he kept hidden an ancient amulet that had been passed down to him in his youth. This amulet, some claimed, was not just a symbol of his power, but a direct link to dark magic. The very source of Dumbledore's strength was a mystery that lay beyond Hogwarts' walls, connected to forces far darker than anyone realized. One evening, while Harry was speaking with Dumbledore, he noticed the glint of the amulet around his neck. He couldn't help but wonder if there was more to this piece of jewelry than met the eye. "An amulet? You mean it's something more than just an ornament?" Harry asked, his voice filled with curiosity and doubt. It was a question that lingered in the air, one that spoke to the larger mystery of Dumbledore's past and the secrets he had kept locked away. For Harry, the amulet was the key to unraveling the layers of Dumbledore's carefully constructed persona. Dumbledore never fully revealed the origins of the amulet, but the implications were clear. This ancient artifact was more than a simple relic. It was a reminder of a time in Dumbledore's life that he preferred to forget. The dark forces that had shaped his youth were always just beneath the surface, influencing his decisions and shaping his destiny. Dumbledore's power was not solely his own, it was, in part, fueled by these dark connections. Yet, as the series unfolds, we see that Dumbledore's journey was one of redemption, trying to free himself from the very forces that once gave him strength. This tension between light and dark defined not just Dumbledore's character, but the very fate of the wizarding world. Number 12. Ron and his ancestry. The Weasley family has always seemed like the epitome of simplicity in the magical world. With their humble lifestyle, their large family, and their unassuming presence, they didn't seem like the sort to have secrets. But as Ron Weasley discovered, his family name hid a far more fascinating and complex legacy than anyone could have imagined. The Weasleys, it turns out, were connected to some of the most powerful magical bloodlines in history, with ties to long-lost wizarding families that had faded into obscurity over time. These connections, buried deep in the past, had remained hidden for centuries, until Ron found himself face to face with the truth. Ron's surprise was evident when he came across the old documents in the library. His eyes widened as he scanned the pages, unsure if what he was reading was real. "You kidding?" he asked, his voice filled with disbelief. "So this is what my family name hides?" The discovery was nothing short of shocking. For years, Ron had seen himself as nothing more than an ordinary wizard from a poor family, but suddenly he realized that the Weasley name carried with it a rich, magical history that was full of untold stories. This revelation wasn't just about discovering family secrets. It was about understanding the depth of his own magical heritage. For so long, Ron had been the sidekick in the trio of Harry, Hermione, and himself, often overshadowed by their fame and talent. But the Weasley lineage held power and influence, with connections that reached back to some of the most esteemed and secretive families in wizarding history. Ron's realization that he was the one to uncover these lost secrets was a turning point, as he began to understand his own significance in the magical world. As Ron delved deeper into his family's hidden past, the weight of their forgotten legacy became clear. The Weasleys weren't just a humble, quirky family, They were part of a grand tapestry of magic that had shaped the very world they lived in. Ron's newfound understanding of his ancestry gave him a new sense of purpose. His journey wasn't just about helping Harry and Hermione fight against dark forces. It was about uncovering the hidden truths of his own bloodline, and in doing so, he began to see himself not just as Ron Weasley, but as a key figure in a larger, ancient, magical story. Number 13, Dark Magic and its Real Influence. Dark magic in the world of Harry Potter is often seen as a mere plot device, a tool to separate good from evil. But the reality of dark magic is far more complex. It is not just an invention for dramatic effect. It has a long and deeply rooted history within the wizarding world. Dark curses like the Avada Kedavra and the Imperius Curse were not just used in battles. They were tools for manipulation and power, helping wizards achieve personal gain or even curse entire families. These spells were steeped in the darkest parts of magic, wielded by those who sought more than just control over others. They sought domination over life itself. Severus Snape, one of the most complicated characters in the series, once made an important statement about dark magic. "I can assure you in dark magic nothing happens by chance," he said. "Each ritual demands its price." His words rang true throughout the saga. Dark magic is not careless or random. It is precise, calculated, and always comes at a cost. Whether it was Voldemort's use of Avada Kedavra to eliminate his enemies, or the Imperius Curse to force others to do his bidding, every spell had a price. It wasn't just about the lives it took, it was about the toll it took on the soul of the caster as well. Consider the case of the Malfoy family, whose lineage was marred by dark magic. Lucius Malfoy, a prominent supporter of Voldemort, used the Imperius Curse not just in the service of the Dark Lord, but to control others for his own gain. He was willing to compromise everything, including his own morals, to wield that power. His son Draco was slowly being pulled into the same dark path, and it was only through the intervention of Harry and the bravery of others that he was saved from becoming another puppet of dark forces. The real influence of dark magic is shown in how it twists the very nature of the wizarding world. It isn't just about the immediate effects of curses, it's about how these spells seep into the hearts of those who use them. Dark magic is not a separate entity. It is a part of the wizarding world's foundation, affecting not just the victims, but the very fabric of the magical community. Even Snape, who was forced to use dark magic to protect Harry, knew the cost it carried. His reminder about the price of every ritual serves as a chilling reminder that in the world of Harry Potter, power always comes with consequences. Number 14, a gift from Fleur Delacour. Fleur Delacour, one of the most beautiful and talented students at Hogwarts, was known for more than just her skills in the Triwizard Tournament. Beneath her graceful exterior, Fleur carried a rare, magical gift passed down from her mother, a powerful witch of her time. This gift allowed Fleur to predict the future. But it wasn't a blessing she used lightly. The ability to see the future brought with it a great burden. It was a power that could change the course of history, yet one that could easily lead to disaster if misused. During the Triwizard Tournament, Fleur stood out not only for her beauty, but for her unwavering composure. Yet, behind her calm demeanor, there was a deep sense of responsibility. Fleur's mother had taught her to use the gift sparingly, only when absolutely necessary. In one of their quiet conversations, Fleur revealed the weight of this power to Harry. "My mother always said that the gift of prophecy can be both a blessing and a curse," Fleur confided, her voice soft but filled with seriousness. I fear I would know too much." In that moment, Harry understood. Fleur wasn't just a competitor in the tournament. She was a young woman burdened with knowledge that could change everything around her. While the world saw her as a skilled and beautiful witch, Fleur was a keeper of secrets, secrets that could alter destinies. She knew how dangerous it could be to possess such a gift, and it was a lesson her mother had instilled in her from a young age. In Fleur's eyes, you could see the struggle between using her power for good or locking it away forever. Her gift wasn't just about predicting the future. It was about understanding the weight of what knowing the future meant. And like many powerful witches and wizards, Fleur was aware of the thin line she walked. "I fear I would know too much," Fleur said, echoing her mother's wisdom. It was a quiet warning to Harry, one that held a lesson for all of them. Some gifts, no matter how extraordinary, come with a price. The future may be tempting to see, but sometimes it's better left unseen. Number 15, the Ice of Durmstrang. The icy fortress of Durmstrang Academy has long been a place of intrigue and mystery. Nestled deep within the frozen wastelands of northern Europe, this school of dark magic and martial wizardry is often shrouded in more enigma than most wizards dare to fathom. While most people are familiar with its harsh reputation, few are aware of the hidden secrets concealed beneath the school's icy exterior. One of the most fascinating and least known of these secrets is the ancient artifact known as the Ice Spirit, or as it is sometimes referred to, Ledinka. It is said to be a gift from one of the earliest and most powerful wizards whose magic was so strong that it could command the elements themselves. The Ice Spirit is not merely a magical object, but a creature of sorts, born from the frost of the northern mountains. The wizard who founded Durmstrang, a man of immense power and wisdom, is believed to have forged the Ice Spirit with his own magic, trapping it within the caverns of ice that lie deep in the school's grounds. This enigmatic creature was said to be capable of manipulating the most extreme of elemental forces, the freezing winds of the north, the sharp and biting cold of the mountains' glaciers, and the swirling snowstorms that often trap travelers in their deadly embrace. The magical powers of the Ice Spirit were not meant for public knowledge. The creature was carefully hidden in the coldest, most unwelcoming part of Durmstrang, accessible only to the school's headmaster and those few who knew of its existence. To most students, the legend of the Ice Spirit was little more than a myth passed down through whispers and rumors. Yet in certain corners of the school, there were those who spoke of its power and the mystery surrounding its nature. The truth, however, was locked away within the frozen heart of Durmstrang, a secret that not even the most hardened wizard could easily uncover. As Victor Crumb, one of Durmstrang's most famous alumni, once said to Harry Potter, there were parts of the school that no one could ever enter. "There are rooms in Durmstrang that no one can go into," he remarked, his tone hinting at something darker beneath the surface. These words would later take on an eerie significance, as Harry's curiosity about the school led him to discover secrets that were never meant to be revealed. The Ice Spirit, concealed deep within the icy caves beneath the school, was one such secret. For centuries, the Ice Spirit had been a guardian of Durmstrang's deepest mysteries. It was said to possess the power to store the most dangerous and forbidden magical knowledge, using its cold magic to freeze the memories and texts that were too dangerous for anyone to see. To the outsider, the school's libraries and chambers appeared ordinary, filled with dusty old books and forgotten scrolls. But within the hidden vaults, deep under layers of enchanted ice, there were records of magic so old, so dark, that to even speak its name was considered sacrilege. The ice spirit, however, was not simply a guardian of dangerous knowledge, it was also a manifestation of the school's very soul. The wizard who created Durmstrang had imbued the creature with part of his own essence, allowing it to reflect the school's harshness, discipline, and unwavering commitment to control. The creature, in its icy prison, was as much a part of the school's identity as the cold winds that whipped through the halls, a constant reminder of the price of power. The legacy of the ice spirit is closely tied to Durmstrang's long history of martial magic, which has been practiced with a level of intensity unmatched by any other school. The wizard who created Durmstrang had a vision of a school that would train only the strongest and most disciplined wizards, those who could command not only the elements but also the power of the mind and body. The harsh training methods, which included battling one's fears and mastering the darkest forms of magic, were designed to create wizards who were capable of standing against any challenge, no matter how powerful. The ice spirit, with its ability to freeze and control the most deadly aspects of nature, was the perfect symbol for this philosophy of strength and endurance. The ice spirit's magical abilities went beyond simply freezing objects or creating ice storms. It was said that the creature could manipulate the very fabric of time and space within its icy domain. Some wizards believed that the ice spirit held the key to unlocking ancient secrets, knowledge that could change the course of wizarding history. It was this very knowledge that the founders of Durmstrang had sought to protect, hiding it deep within the school's frosty walls, where it could never be discovered by those who were unworthy of its power. But such powerful magic does not remain hidden forever. As the years passed, rumors of the ice spirit's existence began to spread beyond Durmstrang's icy borders. It was said that the creature could be awakened by a wizard with the right combination of skill, bravery, and knowledge. Only those with a deep understanding of elemental magic would be able to reach the ice spirit, for it would not reveal itself to just anyone. Those who sought it out would need to prove their worthiness, enduring the coldest of trials, both physical and magical, to reach the hidden chambers where the creature lay in wait. Number 16. The history of the phoenix. The phoenix, a creature that ignites the imagination of all who encounter it, is one of the most fascinating elements in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Its shimmering feathers, its radiant resurrection from the ashes, and its deep connection to life and death all contribute to its legendary status. Most readers are familiar with the concept of the phoenix, especially as it plays a key role in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, but few are aware of the rich, magical history behind this enigmatic creature. The phoenix is a symbol of rebirth and renewal, a bird that upon reaching the end of its life bursts into flames only to be born again from its own ashes. In the magical world, however, the phoenix represents far more than just a simple symbol of resurrection. It is one of the oldest and most powerful magical beings capable of unimaginable feats. According to ancient wizarding lore, each phoenix was not just a bird, but also a magical entity deeply connected to the wielder of its power. The ashes of a phoenix were said to possess incredible properties, including the power to heal wounds, cure ailments, and even restore the life force of a person or creature. What many do not realize, however, is the intricate relationship between a phoenix and its owner, or what some might call its master. This bond is not one of mere companionship, but one of shared power. When a phoenix is reborn from its ashes, it carries with it a fragment of the magic of its previous owner, which it transfers through the ritual of rebirth. In this way, the phoenix serves as both a source of magical strength and a vessel for the power of the wizard it is connected to. The connection is not just one of servitude, but of deep, mystical communion. One of the most well-known phoenixes in the wizarding world is Fawkes, Dumbledore's loyal companion. Fawkes is a prime example of the phoenix's unique ability to connect with and amplify the magic of its owner. In Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Fawkes demonstrates his magical prowess in a way that showcases his deep connection to Dumbledore. When Harry is trapped in the Chamber of Secrets, it is Fawkes who arrives, his tears healing Harry's basilisk-inflicted wound, a powerful symbol of both the Phoenix's healing power and its spiritual bond with Dumbledore. Fawkes's ability to regenerate from his ashes is not merely a spectacle of life and death, it signifies the ever-strengthening power that continues to grow with each cycle of rebirth. Fawkes's tears, which have the ability to heal wounds, are not simply a magical feature, they are a testament to the Phoenix's connection to the very essence of life. In the wizarding world, healing magic is considered one of the most advanced and difficult forms of magic to master. The ability of the Phoenix to heal, therefore, is a reflection of the creature's purity and strength. Its tears can cure the most grievous of wounds, and its very presence is enough to invigorate the weak or the weary. The healing powers of Fawkes are, in many ways, symbolic of the rebirth that the Phoenix represents. His tears cleanse and renew, washing away the past and offering a chance at a new beginning. But the magic of the Phoenix does not end with its ability to heal. The ashes of a phoenix are said to have many other extraordinary properties. One of the most notable is their ability to carry the essence of the phoenix's past owners. The idea that the ashes of such a magical creature could preserve a portion of its owner's strength is deeply significant. It is a subtle reminder that the true power of a wizard does not only lie in the spells they cast or the strength of their wand, but in their connection to the mystical forces of nature. The phoenix, as a creature of rebirth, serves as a vessel for the ongoing legacy of its master's magic, a repository of magical power that is passed on with each resurrection. The deep connection between a phoenix and its master is further exemplified when Harry Potter himself is saved by Fawkes during the battle against the basilisk in the Chamber of Secrets. It is not just the tears of Fawkes that heal Harry's wound, but the very essence of Fawkes's magic that is passed on to Harry. In this moment, Harry is not merely saved by the phoenix, he is touched by the ancient and powerful magic that the creature embodies. The fact that Harry, an orphan with little knowledge of his own magical heritage, is able to experience this magical transfer is a powerful moment in the series. It signifies that even in the darkest of times, the magic of the phoenix is there to offer guidance, strength, and rebirth. Number 17. The magic of the Potter star. The lightning-shaped scar on Harry Potter's forehead is one of the most iconic symbols in the wizarding world, but few know that it holds far more significance than simply being a reminder of his narrow escape from Voldemort's killing curse. This scar is not just a mark of survival or a trace of trauma. It is an ancient, magical symbol, a star of Potter, created by wizards of long ago to protect its bearer from the darkest of magics. The origin of the scar is tied to an ancient protective spell that links Harry's destiny to that of the magical world. To understand its true power, one must delve into the history of magic itself, tracing its lineage back to the time before wands and charms as we know them today. When Voldemort's killing curse backfired on him, creating the scar on Harry's forehead, it was believed by many that the power of love, a deep, magical force, was the reason for Harry's survival. However, the scar's deeper magic was not as simple as love's triumph over evil. It was the work of ancient wizards who used complex rituals and symbols to shield certain individuals from dark magic, and Harry was one such individual. This star-shaped scar was a result of this ancient magic, designed not only to mark him but also to protect him from forces more malevolent than any he could have imagined. The magical community, both past and present, has long been fascinated by this symbol. It was said that the Star of Potter had its origins in a time long before the founding of Hogwarts, a time when wizards and witches used complex runes and sigils to ward off dark forces. The Star of Potter is often compared to the older sigils used in protective enchantments, such as the ones used in ancient runic spells. These symbols were believed to tap into the deepest forces of magic, calling upon the elements and forces of the universe to create protection that was not just physical, but also spiritual and magical. While most witches and wizards are unaware of the full implications of Harry's scar, the truth is that it's not merely a mark left by a failed curse. It is an intricate, magical binding that ties Harry to the very forces that shape the fate of the wizarding world. As he grew older, Harry began to realize that his scar was not simply painful when Voldemort was near. It was also a conduit for magical power, especially in moments of extreme distress or danger. The scar served as a constant reminder of his connection to Voldemort and the ancient forces that controlled their destinies. The connection between Harry and Voldemort was not purely a matter of shared history. There was an ancient prophecy, one that had been foretold long before either of them had been born. The prophecy stated that one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord would be born as the 7th month dies. The connection between Harry and Voldemort, however, went beyond this prophecy. Harry's scar was a physical manifestation of the prophecy's magic, the link that would eventually shape the outcome of the battle between good and evil in the wizarding world. This link, though seemingly a burden, was also a source of immense power that Harry had yet to fully understand. There were those in the wizarding world who had studied these ancient protective symbols, including the legendary alchemist Nicolas Flamel. Flamel, known for creating the Philosopher's Stone, had knowledge of the ancient magics that flowed through objects and symbols. He was one of the few wizards to understand the depths of the magic Harry carried within him, even though Harry himself was unaware of the true nature of his scar until much later in his journey. It was Flamel's research into magical symbols and their effects that suggested the Star of Potter was far more than a simple mark. It was the key to unlocking ancient powers that had been dormant for centuries. In the moments when Harry experienced the most intense pain from his scar, it was often accompanied by flashes of insight, visions of Voldemort's thoughts, his desires, and his plans. These were not just random thoughts, they were moments where Harry's scar acted as a bridge, linking his mind to the Dark Lords. This phenomenon was not a mere connection of minds, but a deeper, magical bond formed by the ancient spell of protection. The scar allowed Harry to feel Voldemort's presence, but it also allowed Harry to understand the true nature of the magic that tied them together. As Harry's journey unfolded, he encountered many who attempted to explain the nature of his scar. One such person was Sirius Black, who, in a moment of reflection, spoke of the scar's true significance. "You don't even realize that this scar is not just a mark," Sirius said, his voice low and serious. "It holds the power of ancient magic within it." These words echoed in Harry's mind as he faced the growing darkness in the world around him. The scar was not just a symbol of his past, but a harbinger of what was to come. Number 18, the secret of the ancient Phoenix Wand. The Phoenix Feather Wand is one of the most iconic and powerful magical objects in the wizarding world, carrying with it a deep, ancient history. It is one of the most significant wands ever created, not just for its immense power, but also for its remarkable journey. The wand's tale stretches back centuries before it was ever placed into the hands of Harry Potter, and like many of the most mysterious and potent magical artifacts, it holds secrets that are not immediately apparent. The legend of the Phoenix Feather Wand is intertwined with the fates of great wizards, the rise and fall of dark forces, and the unpredictable twists of destiny. The Phoenix Feather Wand was not the first of its kind. It was crafted by a master wand-maker who had access to ancient, magical knowledge long lost to most wizards. Unlike other wands whose cores were usually made from materials like dragon heartstring or unicorn hair, the Phoenix Feather Wand contained a feather from Fawkes, Dumbledore's loyal phoenix. The phoenix, a creature of rebirth and fire, imbued the wand with its own eternal and regenerative qualities. The blood of a phoenix was used not only to give the wand extraordinary power, but also to create a bond with its rightful owner, a bond that would never break, no matter the distance or time. The blood of Fawkes, known for its incredible healing properties and ability to regenerate from death, gave the wand a unique property. It would only ever accept a true and worthy master. The creation of the Phoenix Feather Wand was steeped in magic that reached beyond mere craftsmanship. Legends told of the wand's ability to change the fate of its wielder. While other wands were considered powerful in their own right, the Phoenix Feather Wand had an unparalleled depth of power, which made it a coveted prize among wizards. It was said that whoever wielded this wand could command vast magical forces, but only if they could prove their worth. The wand's loyalty was not given easily, for it would reject those who were not the true owners, only those who passed his secret and long forgotten would be allowed to wield the Phoenix Feather Wand. The first known owner of the wand was none other than the legendary wizard Mikhail Grigorovich. Grigorovich was a renowned wand-maker in the wizarding world, known for his obsession with creating the most powerful wand in existence. The Phoenix Feather Wand came into his possession in the late 19th century, and it was this very wand that he would use to carve his name into the history of magical craftsmanship. But Grigorovich, despite his brilliance, was not the true master of the wand. Although he possessed it for many years, the wand's bond was never fully formed with him. This was because he was not the one who was destined to wield it. The wand's true master was not a grand wizard, but a boy who had no idea of the grand destiny awaiting him. Harry Potter, a seemingly ordinary boy living in the mundane world of the Dursleys, was fated to be the next true master of the Phoenix Feather Wand. When Harry first encountered the wand in Ollivander's shop, he could never have known the importance of the bond that was being formed in that moment. It was during this encounter that Harry would come into possession of the wand and unknowingly step into the ancient lineage of its rightful owners. The magical process that determined Harry's ownership of the wand was not one of his conscious choosing. It was fate that guided the wand to him, a moment of destiny that had been written long before his birth. Ollivander, the famed wand-maker, understood the significance of this moment, but even he could not have fully known the extent to which the Phoenix Feather Wand would shape Harry's life. When he handed Harry the wand, he said, "The wand chooses the wizard, Mr. Potter." It was then that Harry learned of the unique and powerful connection that a wand could form with its master. And it was at that moment that the story of the Phoenix Feather Wand began to entwine itself with Harry's destiny. Harry's connection with the Phoenix Feather Wand was not without its struggles. Throughout the years, he faced challenges that tested both his will and his power. The wand, though incredibly powerful, was not always in his hands. At times, it seemed as though the wand had a life of its own, reacting to Harry's emotions and the dangers that surrounded him. The wand's core, after all, was connected to Fawkes, a creature of profound resilience and emotional depth. Just as Fawkes had been reborn from his ashes, the wand too could adapt, responding to its wielder's growth, challenges and triumphs. One of the most significant moments in Harry's ownership of the wand came during the Battle of Hogwarts. In this moment, Harry was able to wield the full power of the Phoenix Feather Wand, which had come to its full potential after years of trials and tribulations. Harry's bravery, determination, and his unique connection to the wand all converged in that final battle, when the power of love and loyalty overcame even the greatest of evils. Harry was able to use the wand not just as a tool of magic, but as a symbol of his own strength and resilience, reflecting the very qualities that had made him the true master of the Phoenix Feather Wand. However, the story of the wand was not just about power or magic. It was about ownership, destiny, and sacrifice. The wand's journey through history mirrors that of its wielders, who had to prove themselves worthy of its power. Harry Potter was not the first to be tested by the Phoenix Feather Wand, but he was the one who fulfilled its ultimate purpose. Through his connection to the wand, Harry became the embodiment of the virtues it represented: courage, love, and the unyielding pursuit of justice. The death of Voldemort marked the final chapter in the story of the Phoenix Feather Wand, but it was also a new beginning. As the dark forces were vanquished, the wand's purpose had been fulfilled. No longer would it be used for the purposes of war, for the forces of darkness were forever defeated. But its story would live on, a reminder of the importance of finding the true owner and the depths of magical power that resided within its core. In the years that followed, the Phoenix Feather Wand was placed in a position of honor in the wizarding world. It became a symbol of Harry's own journey, a journey filled with pain, triumph, and the understanding of the deepest and most complex elements of magic. Harry Potter had not only become the master of the Phoenix Feather Wand, but had become a symbol of the very qualities that had made it so powerful. Its legacy was tied to his own, and in a sense the wand had found its true purpose: to guide Harry in the fight for what was right, to help him face the darkness, and ultimately to help him protect the world he loved. The Phoenix Feather Wand had come full circle. No longer just an object of immense power, it had become a symbol of the connection between a wizard and the magical forces that bound him to his destiny. For Harry Potter, it was not just a tool, but a partner in his journey, a constant reminder that even the greatest of powers are shaped by the choices and actions of those who wield them. And through Harry's story, the legacy of the Phoenix Feather Wand would live on forever, etched into the very fabric of magical history. Number 19. Forgotten Spells of Voldemort. In the wizarding world, where the line between light and darkness often seems blurred, few figures stand as firmly in the realm of darkness as Lord Voldemort. Known for his unparalleled ambition and ruthless pursuit of power, Voldemort's mastery of magic was not only extensive, but terrifyingly unique. His arsenal of spells, many of which remained unknown or forbidden in the broader magical community, served as a testament to his insatiable desire for control. While many are familiar with the Killing Curse, the Unforgivable Curses, and the terrifying Inferius, Voldemort's true strength lay in a series of forgotten and hidden spells, ancient incantations that pushed the very boundaries of magic and reality itself. These spells, with their dark origins and dangerous effects, were feared even by the most experienced witches and wizards. Voldemort's magical prowess was not something inherited, but something he had cultivated through years of intense study, forbidden research, and a deep dive into the darkest corners of magical lore. He was not just a Dark Lord, he was an innovator in the use of dark magic, creating curses and charms that had long been lost to history. One such spell, rumoured to have been discovered during his time at Hogwarts, was not something even the most knowledgeable members of the wizarding world had ever encountered. It was said to exist only within the depths of the dark forest, a place that had become his personal domain in the quest to perfect his powers. Unlike the common curses that had their own well-known incantations, Voldemort's forgotten spells were a unique breed, hidden from history, secret even to the Death Eaters who served him. The most terrifying of these spells was said to have the ability to sever a wizard or witch's connection to reality itself. This spell, while never uttered aloud, was understood to exist in whispers. Only those who had been deeply involved in Voldemort's inner circle knew its terrifying implications. One such person was Lucius Malfoy, who, in an uncharacteristically hesitant moment, once remarked, "You think you know all the spells, but there are those even the most experienced wizards dare not speak of." His words, laced with fear, spoke volumes about the gravity of the power Voldemort wielded. For many, the idea that Voldemort could invent such powerful and dangerous spells was not a surprise. He had always been drawn to the darkest aspects of magic, often going to great lengths to bend them to his will. His obsession with immortality led him to create the Horcruxes, objects that contained pieces of his soul, but his other, more obscure magical creations were not as widely known. These dark arts, which Voldemort studied in secrecy, were not just spells meant for destruction. They were meant to control, to manipulate the very fabric of magic and time. The depth of his knowledge was unmatched, and it was his ability to tap into the unknown, into the forgotten, that made him so formidable. One such spell, believed to be locked within the pages of ancient, enchanted books in the forbidden section of Hogwarts' library, was capable of warping time itself. The incantation, which could erase memories or even entire moments from history, was too dangerous for Voldemort to use recklessly, but he kept it close, hidden in his arsenal for when he deemed it necessary. Its very existence added a layer of complexity to the world of dark magic, a power not just to destroy but to alter the very course of events. For Voldemort, whose need for control knew no bounds, the ability to manipulate time was the ultimate weapon, one that could cement his dominance over the wizarding world. Voldemort's relationship with these forgotten spells was complex. He viewed them as both a source of power and a burden. To truly understand and wield such magic came at a cost. The incantations themselves were difficult to control, and their very nature demanded sacrifices from those who sought to master them. As Voldemort's magic grew darker, so too did his own connection to reality begin to falter. It was rumored that the more he used these forbidden spells, the more he became consumed by them. His transformation from Tom Riddle, the charming and intelligent student at Hogwarts, to the terrifying Dark Lord who struck fear into the hearts of all, was not just a result of his evil intentions, but also the consequence of his deepening connection to a magic that twisted his mind and soul. The price of this dark magic was something Voldemort understood all too well. For all his power, for all the lives he destroyed, there was always the nagging fear that his use of these forgotten spells would one day claim him. His very being was tethered to them, and each time he invoked one, it chipped away at his humanity. Yet he cared little for the toll it took on him, for in his eyes the ultimate goal, immortality, power, and control, was worth any sacrifice, even the loss of his own sanity. In the years leading up to his return, Voldemort began to refine these spells further, testing them on his Death Eaters and anyone who dared cross him. The results were horrifying. Those who had the misfortune of encountering these forgotten incantations would often lose their minds, their senses of self eroded by the sheer force of Voldemort's magic. Some say the spell was so powerful that it could take away one's very soul, rendering them hollow, a mere shell of the person they once were. But Voldemort did not fear this fate. To him, the end justified the means. His drive for power eclipsed any concern for his own well-being or the well-being of his followers. As the Second Wizarding War raged on, these hidden spells became increasingly significant. Voldemort's use of them, though still shrouded in secrecy, left behind a trail of destruction. His final confrontation with Harry Potter at the Battle of Hogwarts was, in many ways, the culmination of Voldemort's obsession with these forgotten arts. Even as he stood on the precipice of victory, it was clear that Voldemort had already been consumed by the very magic he had once wielded so effortlessly. His body, twisted and malformed, was a testament to the cost of tampering with the forces of darkness that no one, not even a Dark Lord, could control. The tragic irony of Voldemort's story lies in the fact that for all his power, for all his innovations in the field of dark magic, he was ultimately undone by the very spells he had sought to master. The Forgotten Curses, once thought to be the pinnacle of his magical achievements, proved to be his downfall. They were not just weapons, but chains, binding him to a path that led only to his destruction. In the end, the darkness he had so eagerly embraced consumed him entirely, leaving only a broken figure where once stood a master of magic. And so, as the wizarding world moved on, the forgotten spells of Voldemort were left behind, locked away in the deepest corners of magical history. Those who survived the battle at Hogwarts would forever carry the scars of the Dark Lord's reign, a reminder of the dangers of tampering with forces beyond understanding. The legacy of Voldemort's magic lives on, a haunting reminder of what can happen when a wizard seeks to control the very fabric of reality, only to be undone by the very power they sought to wield. Number 20. The history of the Nimbus 2000 broom. The Nimbus 2000, one of the most iconic broomsticks in the wizarding world, has a history shrouded in mystery and ambition. This broomstick became a symbol of speed, power, and skill, often regarded as the finest broomstick ever crafted. Its reputation was unparalleled for years, revered by players of Quidditch and enthusiasts alike. However, few know the intriguing backstory behind its creation. The Nimbus 2000 was not just a product of craftsmanship and innovation, it was the result of a high-stakes, magical competition among the most influential wizarding families. The Nimbus Broom Company, led by skilled broom makers, faced stiff competition from their rivals, the Firebolt Company, as well as other notable broom-making families who prided themselves on their magical expertise. To create the Nimbus 2000, the broom makers had to push the boundaries of magical craftsmanship, bringing together various charms and spells to enhance the broom's performance. It was said that they employed a powerful speed-enhancing charm which could make the broom soar through the air faster than any other. The magic infused into the broom was intended to create a smooth, swift ride, but it came at a cost, a risk that would later reveal itself. The Nimbus 2000 was not a product born solely out of necessity or practicality. It was designed with a deep desire to outshine all competition. The competition among families in the wizarding world wasn't just about pride, it was about legacy, status, and the ability to claim mastery over a magical craft. The Nimbus Broom Company knew that they had to create something special, something that would not only impress, but also establish their dominance in the magical world. The creation of the broomstick required a blend of magical abilities, knowledge of flying charms, and most importantly, a deep understanding of what wizards needed in their brooms. With the Nimbus 2000, they achieved that balance, and it became the go-to broom for players in all major Quidditch leagues. One of the more fascinating aspects of the Nimbus 2000's design was the combination of different enchanted woods used in its crafting. The broomstick was constructed from a rare combination of willow, birch, and rowan, each wood possessing its own magical properties. Willow provided strength and resilience, birch added balance, and rowan contributed protection against jinxes. Together they created a broomstick that was not only fast, but also incredibly stable, making it the preferred choice for professional Quidditch players. Its design was sleek, elegant, and modern, everything a wizard could wish for in a broom. But the magic behind the Nimbus 2000 wasn't entirely risk-free. The broomstick's speed-enhancing charm, while a marvel of magical engineering, also came with its own set of dangers. The broom was designed to fly at unprecedented speeds, which would make it ideal for fast-paced Quidditch matches, but this also meant that there was little room for error. A minor miscalculation in the wizard's ability to control the broom could result in disastrous consequences. The charm that allowed the broom to reach such great speeds could easily overpower even the most skilled riders, making it difficult to slow down or regain control once the broom reached full velocity. It was not uncommon for inexperienced riders to have difficulty maintaining control, and accidents were reported from time to time. As much as the Nimbus 2000 was revered, there was always a sense that it was a broomstick with limits. There were whispers among some Quidditch players that it was not always the most forgiving broom, and its ability to go so fast often made it difficult to stop or change direction swiftly. Players loved the thrill of its speed, but the potential dangers of pushing the broom too far were always present. It was a broom for those who truly understood the nuances of flying and were able to control it without being overwhelmed by its power. It wasn't long before the Nimbus 2000 became the broom of choice for many of the most talented Quidditch players in the world. Its reputation as the fastest and most reliable broomstick spread like wildfire, making it a status symbol among witches and wizards. Players from Hogwarts and other wizarding schools were eager to get their hands on one, and it wasn't uncommon to see the Nimbus 2000 as the preferred broom on the pitch during official Quidditch matches. It was as if every game played with the Nimbus 2000 was an exhibition of skill and mastery, a demonstration of the broomstick's superior design and magical qualities. Yet, as with all things, time moved on and new innovations came to the forefront of broomstick design. The Nimbus 2000, once the pinnacle of magical technology, found itself outpaced by a new broom, the Nimbus 2001. The Nimbus 2001, released several years after the 2000, quickly became the new favorite among Quidditch players, even surpassing its predecessor in popularity and performance. The new broom boasted an even faster speed-enhancing charm and more advanced magical properties, making it a natural choice for professional Quidditch teams looking to maintain their competitive edge. While the Nimbus 2000 was no longer the undisputed champion of broomsticks, its legacy remained intact. It had set the standard for all broomsticks that followed, and its influence could be seen in the designs of future models. Even as the Nimbus 2001 took center stage, the Nimbus 2000 retained a special place in the hearts of those who had flown on it. It was the broom that had changed the game, that had ushered in a new era of speed and excitement in Quidditch. One such person who would come to appreciate the Nimbus 2000 was Harry Potter. Harry's first experience with the broomstick came in his first year at Hogwarts when he was given the Nimbus 2000 as part of his initiation into the Gryffindor Quidditch team. For Harry, the broom was a revelation. He had never flown on such a smooth and responsive broom before, and he immediately felt the rush of excitement as he soared through the air. It was a moment of pure exhilaration, and Harry quickly became one of the most promising players in the game. The Nimbus 2000 allowed him to demonstrate his skills and set the stage for his future success on the Quidditch pitch. However, as Harry's skill with the broom grew, so did his understanding of its limitations. While the Nimbus 2000 was fast and powerful, it wasn't invincible. As Ron Weasley once warned Harry, with a Nimbus you can fly faster than anyone, but what happens if you push it too far, if you put more on it than it can handle? This warning was a reminder that even the most impressive magical creations came with their own set of risks and challenges. Harry, ever the adventurer, learned to push his broom to its limits, but he also understood when to ease off and when to allow the broom to take control. His journey with the Nimbus 2000 was a testament to the balance between thrill and caution, a reminder that the pursuit of greatness often required a careful understanding of the tools at hand. The Nimbus 2000's legacy continues to live on even after it was replaced by the Nimbus 2001. It remains one of the most celebrated broomsticks in the history of Quidditch, a symbol of both magical achievement and the pursuit of excellence. It may no longer hold the title of the fastest broomstick, but it will always be remembered as the broom that revolutionized the game and captured the imagination of witches, wizards, and Quidditch fans around the world. In the end, the Nimbus 2000 was more than just a broomstick. It was a symbol of the ambition and creativity that drove the wizarding world to innovate, to push boundaries, and to strive for greatness. Its creation was the result of fierce competition, magical brilliance, and a deep desire to create something truly exceptional. Though it was eventually overshadowed by newer, faster broomsticks, the Nimbus 2000 will always be remembered as a true icon of the magical world. Number 21, The Legend of Harry Potter and the Fourth Stone. In the heart of Hogwarts' School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, nestled deep within the secrets of its ancient walls, lies a legend scarcely known among the wizarding community. For centuries, it was only whispered about in the most arcane of magical circles, seldom shared even by the most experienced wizards and witches. It is a story that involves a stone far more powerful than the one known to most, the famed Philosopher's Stone. This stone, which could grant immortality and transform any metal into gold, was but a shadow of a far more mysterious and dangerous relic that had been hidden away for centuries. This stone, known only as the Fourth Stone, was said to possess an unimaginable power, one that could reshape the very fabric of magic itself. Few records of the Fourth Stone remain in modern magical archives, yet old tomes and forgotten grimoires speak of its significance. It was rumoured to be hidden within the very foundations of Hogwarts, concealed where even the brightest minds of the magical world could never find it. This was not by accident, but rather by design, as the stone's power was so vast and unpredictable that even the most skilled wizards feared its existence. It was said to be a key to a force beyond magic itself, a power that could either save the wizarding world or bring about its undoing. Unlike the Philosopher's Stone, which had been created by the alchemist Nicolas Flamel and was imbued with the power of transmutation and immortality, the Fourth Stone was not born of the same principles. It was not a mere object of alchemical craft, but something far older, tied to the very roots of magic. Its origin, shrouded in mystery, was thought to predate even the founding of Hogwarts. Some believed it was crafted by ancient wizards who had unlocked the very secrets of the universe. Others speculated that it was an artifact left behind by a long-lost civilization, perhaps the mysterious and powerful race known only as the Ancient Ones, who were believed to have vanished long before the time of Merlin. The power of the Fourth Stone was unlike any magic that had been discovered, for it was said to contain the raw force of creation itself. It was not bound by the traditional rules of spellcraft or potion-making. Those who sought it were not merely looking for a tool to extend their lives or to increase their magical power. They sought to tap into something far greater, to gain access to the unknown reaches of magic that had yet to be fully understood by even the most brilliant minds in the wizarding world. The stone was said to be hidden in a location so secretive that even the most powerful wizards were unable to track its whereabouts. It was rumored that the only way to unlock its resting place was to first decipher a series of cryptic clues, each more puzzling than the last. Some believed the clues were scattered throughout the halls of Hogwarts itself, hidden in plain sight but obscured by centuries of misdirection. Others believed that the key to finding the fourth stone lay in the very magic of the castle, an ancient spell cast by the founders themselves to protect the stone from those who would seek to misuse its power. For many years the stone remained forgotten by all but a handful of ancient magical scholars. But over time, whispers began to spread. There were those who believed that the fourth stone could be found, and those who sought its power were willing to go to great lengths to uncover its secret. Among them was a young wizard who, though he did not know it, was destined to become one of the few to ever come close to uncovering its mysteries. Harry Potter. It was during his time at Hogwarts, after surviving the trials surrounding the Philosopher's Stone, that Harry became inadvertently entangled in the search for the fourth stone. At first, it was but a curiosity. He had no reason to believe that anything so powerful could be hidden within the school he had come to love. But as he continued his studies and delved deeper into the secrets of magic, Harry stumbled upon a fragment of an ancient text that spoke of the fourth stone. The more he read, the more he became convinced that this relic was tied to the very essence of the world of magic, and that its power could either change the course of history or destroy everything he knew. As he investigated further, Harry began to uncover strange clues, each one leading him deeper into the labyrinthine mysteries of Hogwarts. The more he learned, the more he realized how dangerous the search for the fourth stone could be. He found himself questioning not just the stone's power, but the very fabric of the magic that governed the wizarding world. What was it that the stone held? What was so terrifying about its power that the founders of Hogwarts had hidden it away so carefully? Dumbledore, ever the enigmatic headmaster, seemed to be aware of Harry's curiosity, though he did not openly acknowledge it. However, during a rare conversation between the two, Dumbledore's words hinted at the gravity of the situation. "In it, Harry, is not just power," he said softly, his eyes darkening as he looked at the young wizard. "In it, there is magic we have yet to understand." Those words, though cryptic, left an indelible impression on Harry. He began to realize that the fourth stone was not just a relic to be discovered. It was a force that could shape the very world they lived in. The more Harry pondered Dumbledore's cryptic words, the more he understood the significance of what was at stake. There were many who would not hesitate to use the fourth stone's power for their own gain, and Harry knew that he could not let that happen. But even with this understanding, he could not shake the feeling that his involvement in the search for the stone was no coincidence. Perhaps, he thought, it was his destiny to uncover its secrets, or perhaps it was a test of his resolve. What Harry did not yet know was that he was not the only one interested in the fourth stone. Dark forces, whose presence had loomed over the wizarding world for years, had also taken note of the stone's power. They, too, sought to possess it, believing that whoever controlled the fourth stone would be able to dominate all of magic. Harry's discovery of its existence had not gone unnoticed, and soon he found himself caught in a battle against those who would stop at nothing to seize the stone. In the end, Harry's quest for the fourth stone was not just a search for an ancient relic. It became a journey into the very heart of magic itself. As he delved deeper into the stone's mysteries, he discovered that its power was not simply a tool to be wielded, but a force that demanded respect and understanding. The fourth stone, with all its promise and danger, held the key to unlocking the future of the wizarding world, but only for those who truly understood its significance. For Harry, the search for the fourth stone became more than just a pursuit of knowledge. It was a test of his character, his courage, and his ability to understand the true nature of magic. And though he would never know the full extent of the stone's power, Harry's journey would lead him to a deeper understanding of the world of magic, one that would shape his destiny in ways he could never have imagined. Number 22. The Malfoy Family Curse. The Malfoy family, one of the most prominent and wealthiest families in the wizarding world, has long been surrounded by whispers of dark secrets and ancient magic. Known for their vast wealth, old blood, and connections to powerful figures, the Malfoys have always occupied a prominent place in the wizarding community. However, few are aware of the dark shadow that has loomed over them for centuries, a curse that has affected each generation, binding them to a fate that they cannot escape. The curse, which has been passed down through the family for generations, was cast by a mysterious ancient wizard said to be a master of the darkest art. According to local legends, this wizard was a figure who had once been consumed by the very dark magic that he wielded, and he used his power to curse the Malfoys as a means of sealing their fate. The curse itself was a simple yet harrowing one. Every heir to the Malfoy family would be forced to endure a trial, a test that would shape their destiny and ultimately affect the future of the family. This trial, it was said, would not be an ordinary challenge, but one steeped in dark magic, requiring the person to confront the very darkness that had shaped their bloodline. Over the years, this curse would prove to be the undoing of many of the Malfoy heirs, forcing them to make choices that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. It was said that only through facing the full brunt of the curse could one hope to break free of its power. But few ever managed to do so. The story of the curse was not widely known even among the wizarding community. The Malfoys, despite their status and wealth, kept the secret of their family's dark past well hidden. But it was during the time of Draco Malfoy, the son of Lucius Malfoy, that the curse truly began to reveal its consequences. Draco, a young wizard who had been raised with all the privileges of his family's wealth and status, was destined to face the same trial that had affected his ancestors before him. The dark history of the Malfoy family would come crashing down on him at a time when he least expected it. As Draco grew older, it became clear that he was struggling with the weight of his family's legacy. He had been raised to uphold the Malfoy ideals, to believe in the superiority of pure-blood wizards and the importance of blood status. But as he came into contact with Harry Potter and his friends, Draco's worldview began to shift. The Malfoy family, with its deep ties to Voldemort and the Death Eaters, had long been a symbol of darkness and hatred. However, Draco, still a child of privilege, was reluctant to fully embrace the path that was expected of him. The internal conflict that he faced mirrored the very struggle that had been passed down through generations of Malfoy heirs. Lucius Malfoy, Draco's father, had long been aware of the curse that hung over their family. As a boy, Lucius had experienced his own trial, which had left him scarred, both physically and emotionally. He had made choices that had tied him to dark forces, and his involvement with Voldemort only deepened his connection to the curse. But Lucius, a man of great pride and ambition, had always believed that he could control his fate, that he could outsmart the curse and lead his family to power and glory. His arrogance, however, would prove to be his downfall. The curse, as it had for his ancestors before him, found a way to claim its toll. As Draco grew older, his father began to see the same signs that had haunted his own youth. Draco was showing signs of inner turmoil, of hesitation, as he was slowly drawn into the orbit of Voldemort's followers. Lucius, in a moment of desperation, warned his son of the curse that had haunted their family for generations. "You cannot escape your destiny, Draco," Lucius said, his voice tinged with weariness. "The Malfoy curse will always find its heir." In these words, Lucius was not only speaking of the dark forces that had shaped their family's past, but also of the deep, personal struggles that Draco would inevitably face. The weight of the Malfoy legacy and the dark magic that ran through their veins would eventually demand a price. The trial that Draco faced was unlike any other. As the Dark Lord's forces began to rise again, Draco found himself caught in the middle of a deadly game, one that would test his loyalty, his morals, and his very soul. The Malfoy family, once proud and powerful, was now deeply entangled with the forces of darkness. Draco, unable to break free of the influence of his father and the legacy of his ancestors, was thrust into a world where betrayal, fear, and death were constant companions. The curse had come full circle, and Draco was now forced to confront it in a way that would change his life forever. Throughout the final years of the Second Wizarding War, Draco struggled with his role in the conflict. He was tasked with an impossible mission, to kill Dumbledore, a task that had been given to him by Voldemort himself. It was a task that no child should ever have to face, but it was one that Draco had no choice but to accept. As the weight of his family's curse pressed down on him, Draco found himself torn between his loyalty to his parents, his fear of the Dark Lord, and his growing sense of moral responsibility. The curse in many ways had forced him into a position where there was no easy way out. In the end, Draco's trial did not involve a simple test of strength or bravery. Instead, it was a test of character, a trial that forced him to choose between the darkness that had shaped his family and the light that had begun to take root within him. The choices that he made would ultimately determine the course of his life and the fate of his family. It was in this moment, when he was faced with the possibility of killing Dumbledore, that Draco made a decision that would forever alter the trajectory of the Malfoy legacy. Although he did not have the courage to kill Dumbledore himself, Draco's actions during the battle in the Astronomy Tower were a pivotal moment in his life. His refusal to follow through with the Dark Lord's command and his eventual betrayal of Voldemort was a powerful symbol of resistance against the curse that had haunted his family for generations. In the end, Draco Malfoy chose a different path, one that led him away from the darkness and toward redemption. The curse that had plagued the Malfoy family for centuries was not broken in a single moment, nor was it destroyed by any act of violence or magic. Instead, it was through Draco's choices, his internal struggle, and his ultimate decision to reject the darkness that the curse was finally lifted. The Malfoy family, for all its wealth and power, had been defined by a legacy of darkness. But through the actions of a single Malfoy heir, that legacy was finally brought to an end. Draco Malfoy's journey, from the shadow of his family's curse to his eventual redemption, serves as a powerful reminder that even the darkest of legacies can be overcome through courage, self-reflection, and the willingness to make the right choices. Number 23, The Secret of the Rabbit Hole. In the world of wizards and magic, the hidden passages and ancient secrets are as abundant as the spells themselves, and one of the most elusive of these mysteries is known as the rabbit hole, a concept shrouded in myth and referred to only in whispers in the deepest corners of magical lore. The term itself evokes a sense of curiosity, suggesting a path that leads to something far greater and deeper than what the ordinary wizard or witch could ever imagine. But what exactly is the rabbit hole, and why does it carry such a sense of danger and allure? According to the ancient texts found in the Hogwarts library and referenced in several historical magical manuscripts, the rabbit hole is not just a whimsical expression but a literal hidden passageway in the magical world. It is said to be a secret corridor within the very heart of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Only a select few have ever claimed to have seen it, and fewer still have ventured into its depths. The corridor itself is said to shift in nature, appearing in different parts of the castle at different times, a feature that makes it all the more elusive. It is as if the rabbit hole itself is aware of those who seek it, appearing only to those deemed worthy or destined to uncover its secrets. The passage is connected to an ancient room, long forgotten by the majority of the wizarding world. This room is said to contain magical artifacts of immeasurable power and significance, some of which are rumored to be linked to the darkest and most dangerous spells ever written in magical history. These artifacts are said to be forbidden, their use strictly outlawed, as their potential for destruction could alter the very fabric of magic itself. It is no surprise, then, that the knowledge of this room has been kept from most students and faculty at Hogwarts. The mention of the rabbit hole is few and far between in historical magical documents, and those who have encountered it in any form often speak of it in vague terms. The most famous account of it comes from Remus Lupin, the beloved Defense Against the Dark Arts professor, who, when asked by Harry Potter about the legend, responded cryptically. He said, "You won't understand what it is until you're inside it," a statement that, though simple, only deepened the mystery surrounding the passage. Lupin, known for his vast knowledge of magical history and its dark secrets, seemed to hint that the rabbit hole was not just a physical space but a test of sorts for the soul of the person who discovers it. This idea of the rabbit hole being a challenge for those who seek it out is supported by the nature of the passage itself. According to the fragments of ancient texts, the corridor is not easily accessed. It requires a specific set of magical conditions to reveal itself, conditions that, when met, create a powerful magical resonance throughout the castle. For instance, it is said that the alignment of certain celestial bodies plays a critical role in unlocking the path to the rabbit hole. The stars must align in a specific way, casting a unique form of light that illuminates the hidden entrance, but only for those whose magical signatures are in harmony with the stars. This makes finding the rabbit hole a rare and difficult event, and it's this rarity that has contributed to the legends surrounding it. Furthermore, the rabbit hole is not just a simple doorway leading into a hidden room. It is a portal that can take its traveller to far-off places in time and space, though its true nature remains unclear. Some believe it leads to an alternate dimension, where magic is more powerful and less constrained by the laws of nature. Others suggest that it's a place where lost knowledge from ancient civilizations is stored, waiting to be rediscovered by those brave enough to seek it out. Whatever the truth may be, it is clear that the rabbit hole is a place of immense power, one that can change the course of a wizard's life forever. The first person to ever speak publicly about their encounter with the rabbit hole was Professor Dumbledore. During a lecture on magical history, Dumbledore briefly alluded to a time in his youth when he had, in fact, found the passage while investigating a forgotten wing of Hogwarts. However, Dumbledore, ever the master of subtlety, did not provide much detail, simply stating that the experience had been life-changing but best left unexplored by students. He warned that while some secrets are meant to be discovered, others are better left undisturbed. His words were clear. There was something about the rabbit hole that was both alluring and dangerous, a combination that had tempted many in the past, but ultimately left them broken or forever changed. Despite these warnings, the rabbit hole continues to capture the imagination of those who hear of it. The allure of such a powerful and mysterious place is undeniable. The idea of a room filled with ancient spells, magical artifacts, and forbidden knowledge is a temptation for many, but the danger lies in the unknown. What lies within the rabbit hole remains a mystery, and while it promises great power, it is unclear whether any wizard or witch who enters it will ever return the same. Perhaps, as Lupin suggested, one must experience it firsthand to understand its true nature. Some theories about the rabbit hole suggest that it is not a single, static place, but rather a shifting portal, one that changes based on the desires and intentions of the person seeking it. This theory posits that the rabbit hole tests the very heart of its seeker, presenting them with visions, challenges, and puzzles that align with their deepest desires or fears. The ancient manuscripts speak of the passage's ability to reveal hidden truths, but they also caution that not all truths are meant to be known. It is said that the rabbit hole can either reveal the most profound knowledge or expose the darkest secrets of one's soul, depending on the seeker's intentions. Another interpretation of the rabbit hole comes from the magical scholar Phineas Nigellus Black, who once described it as a trial of the mind. In his personal diaries, Black wrote that the passage was a means of testing one's resolve and control over their magical abilities. To pass through the rabbit hole, a wizard or witch must demonstrate mastery over their emotions and magical powers, for only those who can maintain balance and clarity in their mind are able to navigate its shifting nature. This idea aligns with Lupin's cryptic statement, as those who are unable to maintain their composure may find themselves lost or trapped within the rabbit hole, unable to escape until they learn to control their own magic. The legacy of the rabbit hole continues to be one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the magical world. It remains a topic of debate among scholars and wizards alike. While some dismiss it as a mere myth or a piece of magical folklore, others are convinced that the passage exists and that its secrets will one day be revealed. For now it remains locked away in the deepest corners of magical history, waiting for the next brave soul to seek it out. But as the ancient texts warn, it may not be a journey that can be undertaken lightly. The rabbit hole is a place that requires great strength, knowledge, and resolve. For those who are truly ready to face it, the reward is said to be unimaginable. But for those who are unprepared, the consequences could be dire, leaving them lost in a maze of magic that even the greatest wizards may never escape. Number 24. The invisible Potter family. The world of magic is full of mysterious and awe-inspiring phenomena, some of which are so powerful and secretive that even the most learned wizards and witches remain unaware of their existence. One such hidden mystery is the use of an ancient and forgotten charm that was cast over the Potter family, a charm so strong that it protected them in ways no one could truly understand. While most magical families relied on more common means of protection, spells and enchantments taught at Hogwarts and passed down through generations, the Potters had access to something far older, far more elusive, and far more dangerous. This spell, known only to a few, was a safeguard that ensured the family's invisibility to the eyes of the world, including the most dangerous of foes. It was a secret that had been hidden away for generations, and its existence was all but forgotten in the wizarding world. The Potter family, known for their bravery, their wealth, and their status, had always been surrounded by an aura of mystery, but this particular secret remained hidden even from those closest to them. As the dark wizard Voldemort rose to power, The Potter's ability to vanish into the shadows became not just an advantage, it became a matter of life and death. The most remarkable aspect of this charm was its hidden nature. Even after the deaths of James and Lily Potter, the spell continued to exert its influence, cloaking Harry in a veil of invisibility. This was no ordinary invisibility, like the one granted by an invisibility cloak or a simple disillusionment charm. This was a deeper magic, one that not only rendered its subject unseen by the eye, but also erased their magical signature, hiding them from detection by even the most skilled wizards. It was a magic that, once cast, could persist long after its originators were gone. The story of Harry's survival at the hands of Voldemort is often told as a tale of bravery, sacrifice, and the power of love. However, there was more at play than mere human courage. The Potter's use of this powerful ancient charm ensured that Harry would not be easily found, even after his parents' tragic deaths. While the magical community believed Harry was merely a victim of the Dark Wizard's curse, the true nature of the protection around him was much more complex than anyone had realized. For many years, the magic that protected Harry was a mystery, even to him. He grew up unaware of the ancient charm's existence and its continuing influence over his life. As a child, Harry lived with the Dursleys, a family who, while treating him poorly, kept him hidden from the wider magical world. Little did Harry know that the invisibility cast upon him by his parents' magic was not simply a safeguard from Muggle eyes, but a protection against some of the most powerful wizards who might wish him harm. This charm had been activated even before Harry's birth, while his parents were still alive and hiding from Voldemort. The protection was so strong that it continued to work without any visible intervention. It was a shield that kept Harry hidden from the most dangerous forces, and it lasted for as long as he remained unaware of its existence. The spell, while seemingly a blessing, also kept him isolated from much of the magical world. In the early stages of Harry's life, no one knew of the true extent of the protections placed upon him. Hagrid, when he first found Harry in the cupboard under the stairs and later took him to Diagon Alley, did not know the whole story of the spell that surrounded him. It wasn't until much later, when Harry began his journey into the magical world and started to face greater dangers, that he began to unravel the mystery of his parents' protection. One of the most profound moments came when Hagrid explained the magical protection surrounding the Potter's house. He mentioned the invisible charm that had been placed around their home, a shield so strong that it made the house nearly unfindable. "Don't think it's just coincidence, Harry. There are things that even Remus and I can't explain," Hagrid had told Harry during one of their conversations about the protective magic. These words, though cryptic at the time, were a clue to the ancient magic that had shielded the Potters from the very beginning. This magic, which was activated long before Harry's birth, was not only a shield against harm, but it also kept Harry safe from being tracked by those who sought him out, including Voldemort. When Harry's parents died, the spell that surrounded their family continued to act, preserving their secrecy and keeping Harry hidden from the eyes of the world. Even though Voldemort had killed his parents, the charm remained intact, working to hide Harry and protect him from further danger. For years, the charm shielded Harry from being found, even as he grew older and more vulnerable. The invisibility of the Potters, especially Harry, was a complex web of magic that few could truly understand. It was a spell deeply rooted in ancient times, passed down only to those who knew its true significance. For much of the wizarding world, this charm was a forgotten relic of a bygone era, a magic lost to the passage of time. But for the Potters, it was the very thing that kept them alive, and later the key to Harry's survival. As Harry grew older, the magic that kept him hidden from the world began to fade, albeit slowly. The closer Harry came to uncovering the mysteries of his past and his connection to Voldemort, the more the magical protection weakened. The spell that had once kept him hidden from the world became less effective as Harry learned more about his destiny and the challenges he had to face. By the time Harry entered Hogwarts, he was no longer fully shielded by the charm. However, its influence continued to shape his journey, guiding him in ways he could never fully comprehend. There were moments when Harry felt the remnants of this ancient magic still working in his favor, even when he did not understand why. He was saved from certain death more than once, often by unseen forces that seemed to intervene at the last moment. Whether it was the aid of a mysterious benefactor or the protection that lingered from his parents' magic, Harry was often left wondering how much of his survival could be attributed to the strength of this invisible charm. In the final confrontation with Voldemort, when Harry faced his greatest enemy and ultimately triumphed, the power of his parents' protection played a pivotal role. Though the magic had faded over time, the deep connection between Harry and his parents remained a force that Voldemort could never fully understand. The love and sacrifice that had once shielded Harry from harm had become a part of him, making him more resilient and powerful than even he could realize. The secret of the Potter's invisibility is a reminder that magic is not always what it seems. While most wizards and witches relied on their spells and wands, the Potters had something far deeper at their disposal, an ancient and powerful magic that kept them hidden from the eyes of their enemies. It was a protection that transcended the physical world, a magic that could not be measured by mere spells. And though Harry eventually learned of this power and its significance, it was clear that the greatest protection of all was the love and sacrifice of those who came before him. The invisible family of the Potters may have been unseen by the world, but their legacy lived on, ensuring that Harry remained, in some sense, forever hidden from harm. Number 25. The Lost History of the Patil Sisters. The Patil sisters, Parvati and Padma, were not just ordinary students at Hogwarts. They were part of a lineage with a hidden past, steeped in mystery and magic. Though their outward appearances and behaviors might have suggested typical Hogwarts students, focused on their studies, involved in the daily school activities and close-knit friends, their family history was far from ordinary. The secret that lingered in the shadows of their family tree, however, was one of profound power and danger, a history unknown even to their closest friends. For generations, the Patil family had been guardians of an ancient spell, one so dangerous that its use was prohibited by even the most seasoned witches and wizards. In the bustling halls of Hogwarts, Parvati and Padma often found themselves the subject of curiosity. Parvati, with her vivid personality, was often the one to shine in the limelight, drawing attention with her charm and wit. Padma, on the other hand, was quieter and more reserved, preferring to stay out of the spotlight. Yet, despite their different temperaments, both shared a bond deeper than that of ordinary siblings. It was a connection formed not only through shared experiences at Hogwarts, but also through a deep, unspoken knowledge of the powerful legacy that ran through their veins. The family's connection to magic was not one of simple spellcasting. Instead, it was a lineage connected to something far more ancient and dangerous, a truth that neither of the sisters fully understood nor dared to explore too deeply. The Patil family's origins could be traced back to a time when magic was still in its infancy. Their ancestors had been some of the first witches and wizards to unlock the deepest mysteries of magic. These ancestors, scholars and practitioners of ancient magic, discovered a powerful and dangerous spell hidden in a long-forgotten text. The spell was one that could, in theory, separate a person's consciousness from their body, sending it into a parallel world where magic was not just a tool, but an all-encompassing force. In this parallel world, magic flowed through every living thing, vastly more potent than anything seen. In the wizarding world, however, the cost of using the spell was far too great. The mind, once separated from the body, could be lost to the parallel realm forever. The spell had the potential to alter the very fabric of reality, creating rifts between worlds that could never be repaired. It was a force so volatile that, if unleashed, it could destroy not only the wizarding world, but also the very essence of existence itself. As a result, the spell was locked away, its existence known only to a select few, and its secrets passed down through the generations within the Patil family. But the knowledge of this spell was always guarded closely, with only the eldest members of the family fully understanding its gravity. For years, the sisters lived their lives without knowing the full extent of their heritage. Their family was wealthy and influential, but they were never a family that actively sought power in the magical world. It was not until they were both students at Hogwarts that the first signs of the ancient magic began to reveal themselves. Parvati, ever the charismatic one, seemed to attract unusual attention. Her connection to magic was so intense that it sometimes startled even the professors. Padma, while more reserved, displayed an innate understanding of magical concepts that went far beyond the normal for a Hogwarts student. Still, neither sister knew that their abilities were tied to something far older than they could imagine. One evening, as Parvati and Padma sat by the fire in the Gryffindor common room, a conversation with Harry Potter sparked a chain of events that would eventually lead them to uncover their family's secret. Harry, always curious about his friends' backgrounds, had asked them about their family history, hoping to understand more about the magical influences that shaped their lives. What he didn't expect was the sudden tension that followed his question. Parvati, who normally had no trouble talking, hesitated and then spoke in a tone that seemed both dismissive and guarded. She told Harry that the history of their family was something they never spoke of, a secret that should remain hidden. Padma, her face serious, nodded in agreement, adding that some things were better left unsaid. "It's not that we don't trust you, Harry," Parvati had said. "It's just that some things are better off forgotten." Though Harry was intrigued, he knew better than to press further. It wasn't until later that evening, as he reflected on their words, that he realized the weight of what they had said. He knew the Patils were talented, but there was something in their demeanor that hinted at a deeper, more dangerous magic than anything he had ever encountered. Their caution around the topic of their family history was unlike anything he had seen before. It wasn't just a matter of personal privacy, it was a matter of protection, of safeguarding a knowledge so potent that it could change everything. Later, in a quiet conversation with Ron and Hermione, Harry mused on the matter. "It's strange," he said. "I've never seen Parvati so serious about anything. It's like they're hiding something important." Hermione, ever the bookworm, remembered a story she had once read about ancient magical families, particularly those who had guarded powerful and forbidden knowledge. "There are rumors, Harry," she said, "about certain families who hold on to dangerous spells that are far too powerful for anyone to use. But I don't think it's something we'll be able to dig up easily. Some secrets are meant to stay buried." As the days passed, the mystery of the Patil family lingered in Harry's mind. Despite his curiosity, he knew it was a topic that would be best left undisturbed. The more he thought about it, the more he understood that some knowledge wasn't meant to be uncovered. After all, In a world where magic could do so much, it was hard to say where the line between power and destruction truly lay. The secret of the ancient spell remained locked away in the hearts and minds of the Patil sisters, its dangerous implications carefully hidden from the world. It was a legacy that they carried with them, but one that they would never fully comprehend. Parvati and Padma had lived with the knowledge that their family's history was far older and far darker than most people realized. They knew that some truths, no matter how compelling, were better left unknown, for in the wizarding world, curiosity often led to perilous paths. The secret of the Patil sisters, the lost history of their family, would remain just that, lost. Hidden behind a veil of magic and silence, the truth of their heritage would never fully come to light, its power too great, its risks too high. The Patils, despite their talents, would never let the world know just how close they had come to tapping into a magic so profound, so dangerous, that it might have rewritten the very essence of existence itself. And so the history of the Patil family would remain shrouded in mystery, a tale for another time when the world was ready to face the truth. Number 26. The influence of Remus Lupin on werewolves. Remus Lupin's legacy in the wizarding world extends far beyond his role as a kind, empathetic teacher at Hogwarts. Known as the Defense Against the Dark Arts instructor during Harry Potter's third year, Lupin was also a werewolf, a condition that made him one of the most intriguing and complex figures in the entire series. While his struggle with lycanthropy was well known, few realized that Lupin was one of the first known wizards who developed a method to control his transformations, offering a glimpse into the intricate and untold world of magical ailments. His knowledge of how to manage lycanthropy wasn't just a personal achievement, it was a breakthrough that could have changed the lives of many other afflicted witches and wizards if it had been shared more widely. Remus Lupin was not born with the ability to control his transformations, nor was he naturally immune to the violent consequences of becoming a werewolf. His condition, inflicted upon him at the tender age of 5 by Fenrir Greyback, the most notorious werewolf of the time, seemed an insurmountable burden. Yet despite the horrific nature of his condition, Lupin's journey toward managing it spoke to his resilience, his dedication to mastering his fate, and his unwillingness to let the dark mark of his transformation define him. The struggle was not simply with the pain or the unpredictability of the full moon. It was with the social stigma that came with being a werewolf in a world that feared and despised creatures like him. What made Lupin's case extraordinary, however, was his ability to hold his transformations at bay. He had learned to suppress the darker, more uncontrollable aspects of his condition. This wasn't through sheer willpower alone, but through the use of an ancient potion that had been designed specifically for the purpose of mitigating the effects of lycanthropy. The potion, which Lupin referred to in passing, was a secret known to only a select few in the wizarding world. It wasn't readily available, nor was it commonly used, for it required a precise understanding of both magic and werewolf biology to craft it. The potion, known as the Wolfsbane potion, was an incredible achievement in magical science. It allowed Lupin to retain his human mind and rationality during his transformations, thus preventing him from succumbing to the violent and uncontrollable instincts that most werewolves fell prey to. But even Lupin, with his extensive knowledge and magical prowess, did not think the potion was a perfect solution. He could manage his condition, but not without great effort, and the process of brewing the potion was both complex and arduous. Lupin had to take it daily, starting weeks before the full moon, to ensure its effectiveness. Despite the magical community's growing understanding of lycanthropy, Lupin chose to keep the full details of his control over his transformations a secret. He shared only limited information about his personal methods with Harry Potter, whom he had grown fond of during their time together at Hogwarts. This secrecy stemmed from his fear that such powerful knowledge could be misused. Lupin understood the potential for exploitation. What if someone used this potion to control werewolves for sinister purposes? What if, in the wrong hands, this knowledge led to a darker, more dangerous form of oppression? This was a key reason why Lupin refused to teach Harry and others how to make the wolfsbane potion, even though Harry was desperate to learn the secret. The moment when Lupin reveals the full extent of his reluctance to teach Harry this powerful magic came during a conversation that has remained etched in the minds of many fans of the series. When Harry asked Lupin how he managed to control his transformations, Lupin's response was one of quiet sorrow and caution. He said, "I can't teach you this, Harry. It's too dangerous to spread such knowledge." It was not a refusal born of personal animosity or a desire to withhold information, but one born from a deep understanding of the dangers that such knowledge could unleash. Lupin understood the importance of keeping certain things hidden, especially when those things could potentially be used to harm rather than heal. Lupin's decision to keep the secret of his transformation control was not only a reflection of his humility, but also of his profound sense of responsibility. He knew that the wizarding world, though rich in magical knowledge, was far from perfect. The same world that had devised spells to heal and protect also created dark arts capable of destruction and corruption. Lupin had lived through the consequences of being part of a marginalized and persecuted group, and he knew firsthand the capacity for cruelty in those who wielded power. In the context of Lupin's character, his struggles with lycanthropy mirrored his inner turmoil over his identity as a werewolf. In many ways, he embodied the very essence of what it meant to be both a product of society and a victim of it. His decision not to pass on his knowledge of lycanthropy's control was also a silent protest against the way the wizarding community had treated werewolves for centuries. Despite being one of the few who had learned to control his affliction, Lupin remained an outcast, a reminder of the world's inability to accept those who were different. His refusal to teach others his methods was not out of selfishness, but out of a recognition of how dangerous that knowledge could be in a society that had yet to learn true compassion. Lupin's actions and his knowledge of werewolf control can also be seen as a larger commentary on the hidden struggles that many people face in real life. There are many afflictions, whether physical or mental, that require individuals to learn how to manage their condition in secret, out of fear of being judged or misunderstood. Lupin's case illustrates the stigma that often accompanies being different, and how those who are marginalized must often keep their abilities or knowledge hidden to survive in a world that doesn't fully understand them. This is particularly poignant when one considers the parallel between Lupin's struggles and those of other characters in the Harry Potter series, such as Harry himself, who often found himself misunderstood due to the circumstances of his life. The significance of Lupin's contribution to understanding lycanthropy was not just about finding a way to manage the physical transformation of a werewolf, but about opening up the possibility of a more compassionate way to deal with those who suffered from this condition. The invention of the wolfsbane potion and Lupin's efforts to control his transformation was a turning point in the magical world's relationship with werewolves. Yet, it also represented the larger theme of fear and misunderstanding that characterized many of the relationships between the magical community and those deemed other. Lupin's refusal to share the knowledge of controlling lycanthropy is one of the many moments in the Harry Potter series where moral ambiguity and the limits of magical knowledge are explored. It's a reminder that not all magical powers or knowledge should be shared indiscriminately. Even the best intentions can lead to disastrous consequences if not wielded with care. In this sense, Lupin's decision to keep his secrets was not just an act of personal restraint, but a recognition of the delicate balance between knowledge and power. And, as Harry Potter learned over the course of his journey, sometimes the most powerful thing a wizard can do is to understand when to withhold knowledge for the greater good. Number 27. The connection between Voldemort and Harry Potter through Vandalate. The connection between Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort is far deeper than most fans realize. While the two are undeniably enemies, their intertwined fates are rooted in something more mysterious. The ancient magical artifact known as the Vandalite. This artifact, shrouded in legend, was said to hold the secrets of time, magic, and prophecies. It is not something most witches or wizards would come across in their lifetimes. However, in an unexpected twist of fate, it was Voldemort who came to possess this powerful relic, a turn of events that would ultimately shape the destinies of both him and Harry in ways no one could have predicted. The Vandalite, a curious and complex object, was rumoured to have been created by an ancient order of sorcerers who sought to control the very flow of time. Its magic was said to be so potent that it could bend the future to the will of its wielder, allowing them to glimpse the future or even manipulate the past. Its ability to reveal the deepest secrets of the universe, particularly those of fate and prophecy, made it a highly sought-after relic. And yet, despite its immense power, only a handful of wizards had ever seen it. Most thought it was merely a myth, a tale passed down in hushed whispers through the ages. When Voldemort stumbled upon the Vandalite, he had no idea of the profound impact it would have on his life. To him, the artifact was another tool to increase his power, a means to dominate the wizarding world. It was during his early search for immortality, long before he truly understood the scope of his connection to Harry Potter, that he discovered the artifact. Holding the Vandalite in his hands, Voldemort felt an immediate surge of energy. Its magic seemed to resonate with his own dark powers, amplifying them in ways he hadn't expected. Little did he know that by wielding it, he was unknowingly laying the foundation for his eventual downfall. What Voldemort failed to realize was that the Vandalite wasn't merely a tool for gaining power, it was a bridge to something far more profound. When he used the artifact, it didn't just magnify his magical abilities, it linked him to Harry Potter in ways no one could have foreseen. The artifact, tied to the very fabric of time itself, forged an unbreakable magical connection between the two, creating an invisible thread that would weave their fates together. This connection, however, was not something Voldemort understood or could control. It was something older, something deeper than his own thirst for power. As Harry grew, it became clear that his life was bound to Voldemort's in ways beyond the obvious. From the very first time he faced the Dark Lord, their connection through the Vandalite was established. The prophecy that had been made about them, the one that stated, "Either must die at the hand of the other," was not a mere prediction of future events. It was a reflection of the ancient magic at play, a magic woven into their lives by the artifact. Harry's ability to survive time and again in the face of Voldemort's attacks was no coincidence. The Vandalite's magic had given him the resilience to endure, to keep coming back when the odds seemed impossible. There was one instance in particular that highlighted the power of this connection. When Voldemort first attempted to kill Harry as a baby, he used the killing curse. The curse rebounded, killing Voldemort instead, but not before part of his soul was bound to the boy. This event, the downfall of Voldemort and the destruction of his body, was not a random occurrence. The magic of the Vanderlight had acted in a way that Voldemort could not have anticipated. It didn't just link Harry's life to Voldemort's, it created a sort of magical tether that would bind them forever. Harry, in turn, became the key to breaking Voldemort's hold on the wizarding world, though he would not fully realize this until much later. The deeper the connection between Harry and Voldemort grew, the more it became apparent that the Vanderlight was at the center of their fates. Harry's ability to see into Voldemort's thoughts, to feel his presence, and to even experience his emotions were all direct consequences of this magical bond. While Voldemort had thought he could use the Vanderlight to dominate time and reality, it was Harry who ultimately became its undoing. Through the artifact, Harry gained the understanding and the ability to weaken Voldemort's hold on the world without even fully comprehending the extent of his power. There was, however, another twist to the tale. The prophecy had made it clear that only one could survive. As much as Voldemort sought to destroy Harry, Harry was destined to destroy Voldemort in return. But it wasn't just the prophecy that foretold this. It was the magic of the Vanderlight, whose pull on their lives could not be denied. Every moment of Harry's life, every choice he made, was leading him toward a final confrontation with Voldemort. It was as though the artifact itself had already determined the outcome. Dumbledore had always known that Harry was special, but he never fully explained the depth of the connection between him and Voldemort. When he finally did reveal the truth to Harry, he spoke not just of the prophecy, but of the power that resided within the Vanderlight, a power that could alter the course of time itself. Harry was not just a pawn in a battle between good and evil. He was the key to unraveling the very magic that bound Voldemort's dark powers to the world. Dumbledore knew that Harry had the potential to destroy the artifact's influence, to sever the magical connection between them, and thus end Voldemort's reign of terror. It was during their final encounter, in the dark and desolate moments of the Battle of Hogwarts, that Harry fully understood the role he had been playing all along. When he stood face to face with Voldemort, he wasn't just confronting a dark wizard, he was confronting the very force that had shaped his life, the force that had been intertwined with his fate from the beginning. And in that moment, as Voldemort raised his wand and prepared to strike the fatal blow, Harry realized that it was his connection to the Vanderlight, to time itself, that gave him the power to defeat Voldemort once and for all. The battle was not one of wands or spells alone. It was a battle of time, of fate, and of magic far beyond their understanding. The truth of the prophecy had never been about strength or skill, but about the power of the heart and the will to break free from the chains of destiny. Harry, in the end, did not need the artifact's power to destroy Voldemort. He simply needed the strength of his own convictions, the courage to stand against the darkness and to face it without fear. The magic of the Vanderlight had shaped their destinies, but it was Harry's own heart that finally ended the Dark Lord's reign. In the end, Harry's victory over Voldemort was not just a personal triumph. It was the destruction of the ancient magic that had bound them together. The Vanderlight's influence was broken, its power dissipated, and with it, the dark force that had threatened the wizarding world was gone. But even as the battle ended, the legacy of the Vanderlight remained, a reminder of the magic that had shaped the lives of both Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort. And as Harry stood victorious, the world he had fought to protect was forever changed, free from the shadow of the Dark Lord and the ancient powers that had once held sway over it.